One of the research projects that we spend a lot of time on here at the Learning Center is looking at food-grade corn. That's an important market for us here. We have a lot of local buyers of food-grade corn, and we want to make sure that we have products in the marketplace that really meet those demands and provide an option for producers to grow in their fields. There is a lot of work that goes into it. It's not as simple as, just selecting something and saying it's food grade. You do have to start very early in the pipeline and then kind of progress through and really evaluate kernel properties. Kind of looking at how the kernels are developing, making sure that what we see isn't a lot of dent. This one looks a little bit promising, but we'll have to kind of make sure that it develops a little bit more. And then as we move toward harvest, we can make some of those final decisions on what potentially could be a food grade product. And I've got a couple of examples here of corn. One of them is a very dented kernel. If you went through and saw ears like this in the field, that's not going to be what's desirable for food grade. It doesn't have enough of the hard endosperm in there. The crowns will chip a lot in food processing, and it's not very desirable. I've got another one though that we can kind of husk back, and you can see a much smoother dent to it. The crowns look a lot better. That one has potential. So that's kind of that first stage, is making sure the corn looks right. Then you can actually go through, and we use a pill splitter to actually split the kernels that we have. You just kind of carry that in the field with you. And if we split the kernel and we see a lot of the kind of hard orange endosperm and not a lot of the white soft starch, we know we've got something that has good potential to it. If we split that kernel and we see a lot more of the white starch, very little of the hard endosperm, we know that's something that really fails at that point in terms of what we're looking for food grade. Kind of the next stage is then we'll send that corn to a lab. We'll have them evaluate it for a lot of different properties related to how that corn could be used. And they'll kind of give us a rating. If it passes that, then we'll know that we've got something that's pretty close to being acceptable. And that final stage then will be, we'll actually grow, a grow out like this, where we've got about an acre of each corn product in the field that we're evaluating. We'll go through, kind of look at the ears year long, make sure they're developing like we think they should. And then we'll actually harvest those in the fall, and we'll put them in kind of segregated hard side totes to make sure that, we've got one hybrid in each box. And we'll send that off and get it cleaned. And then we'll send it to the different processors to actually have them go through their test with it. Sometimes it's as simple as lab tests for them, but other times they actually go through and make the food product or the snack food product, whether that be corn chips or something like that, to see how it's going to perform for them. If it has a high enough yield of chips, if it tastes right, if it has the right texture and all those things, they'll actually approve it so that farmers can grow it. Once it's approved, then we can sell it to producers, and you can kind of realize that premium on your farm. We do also, as we go along, though, have to make sure that all the agronomic characteristics are there. We've got the disease tolerance, the standability, green snap tolerance, all those things that we're looking for in a good corn product here. If it has, the agronomic requirements and the kernel properties that make it food grade, it'll be one that we would recommend on a lot of acres as far as actually using that product to go after a premium as a producer. We are also adding some research around water use and irrigation, making sure that if we get into a situation with limited water, the kernel properties don't get worse in terms of being acceptable for food grade. So we actually have some research where we're backing the amount of water we apply off of our current food grade list, and we make sure that those food properties are stable. If we see that they're stable, again, that's one we could recommend on maybe a producer that has a tougher acre out there. But those are things we're looking at that really, we hope, impact the local market. It is a little bit of a specialty crop for us here in central Nebraska, but we do see the market expanding, and we really look forward to, kind of continuing to move in the direction of more and more looks and more research on food grade corn products.